Was it in 2014?
Yes.
Ex-President Goodluck Jonathan, signed the same-sex bill and all that. And Nigeria has a zero tolerance for it. But then we are part of the Commonwealth. So if if they're saying all Commonwealth nations, should I'm trying to choose my words.
No, you understand, you know the way it plays out
I'm
here.
trying to choose my words.
You get to see a lot of people that actually seek asylum outside the shores of Nigeria.
Yes,
once they go out of the country. The main cases, the main reason they give why they're running away from Nigeria is because
their lives
are actually threatened
yeah.
because they are involved in a same-sex marriage.
Okay.
And so they have to seek asylum.
All right, before we start talking, let's take the footage. This is a reminder of what led up to the signing of the bill by Jonathan and every other thing after that. We'll be back.
The bill was signed into law quietly, without fanfare or announcement. When the news came out, it was relegated to a small corner of the national press. But it's a piece of legislation that will have a huge impact on the lives of gay people in Nigeria. Gay sex is already illegal, but this act goes further. It recommends prison sentences of up to 14 years for same-sex couples. Public displays of affection, or even going to a gay club, could land you in jail for a decade. It's a populist and almost universally popular move from a president under intense political pressure at home and facing re-election next year.
It's un-African. We don't want such things in our country. I'm so happy that he signed against it.
It's better that we have such a law in place than to have situations where people would take the laws into their hand on account of saying, oh, someone is suspected to be homosexual, and then jungle justice obtains.
Since the announcement of the signing of the bill, dozens of people have been arrested in this staunchly religious and conservative country.
The police will arrest people and go through their telephone and ask them to identify who is gay on their telephone number, get the number and give this person a call and invite them over. They go to the police station, they get arrested, and this system keeps going on.
Bisi Alimi, who fled to the UK in 2007 after coming out live on Nigerian TV, says he and his family have been receiving death threats on social media.
In a country like Nigeria, where mob justice is the biggest in the world, I fear for my family, I fear for my friends, and I just fear for every ordinary lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender people in Nigeria.
I feel one is self-denial, total self-denial.
Being gay in Nigeria isn't easy. In a recent poll, 98% of respondents said homosexuality was unacceptable in society. Meetings are held in secret. Activists must conceal their identities. Nigeria is Africa's most populous country. Despite its vast oil wealth, it's also one of the continent's poorest, where more than half the population survive on less than £1 a day. British aid to Nigeria has almost doubled in 5 years. In 2010 to 11, DFID gave £143 million. By the end of next financial year, that figure's projected to have risen to £275 million. Nigeria is just one of many African states with anti-gay legislation on the statute books. Consensual same-sex relationships are illegal in around 2/3 of countries on the continent. They include Ethiopia, which last year received over £260 million from DFID. Tanzania at £150 million and South Sudan at just under £110 million are also amongst the top recipients of UK aid money.
Right Honourable David Cameron.
In 2011, David Cameron said Britain would use aid to try to influence government policy on same-sex relationships in countries like Nigeria.
Britain is now one of the premier aid givers in the world, saying that our aid, actually, we want to see countries that receive our aid adhering to proper human rights, and that includes how people treat gay and lesbian people.
we can see the backlash from that, not just in Nigeria, but from Uganda, from Zimbabwe, from Zambia, from all over Africa. African leaders standing up and saying, Britain, you're coming back again to colonize us with your money. We don't want your money. Take your money away. After David Cameron made the statement about aid conditionality tied to LGBT rights, I wrote an email to the Foreign Office using the Freedom of Information Act to demand for Britain's investment in supporting grassroots LGBT organizations. No investment whatsoever.
Britain's £10 billion foreign aid budget is meant in part to project soft power abroad. Nigerians, both in the gay community and in government, could be forgiven for thinking that all the tough talk doesn't really mean very much.
Welcome back. All right. Yes. So, first of all, let us keep in mind, when we're commenting, the fact that if the UK is calling on Nigeria to open up in terms of, or reduce our rigidity when it comes to same-sex or sexual preferences and all of that, we have to remember that Nigeria gets hundreds of millions of pounds from the UK in terms of grants and all of that, which can be used as a we all know what I'm talking about. So let's talk about this issue, this call for embracing same-sex marriages.
Well, the conversation is not new. The conversation has always been there. She's not the first to say that. Like you heard, Cameron said that, others said that. But the question is, who really are we as a people? Do we really believe in that? Does our religious background allow for that? Look, let's not deceive ourselves. I am not going to be one of those that would say, oh, crucify them. Because, look, just in Ikeja here, they are everywhere. Just in Ikeja here, they are everywhere. You go to Abuja, they are everywhere. Yes, there's a law that prevents them from coming out openly. But they are practicing privately. So you can't say that they are not existing. It's just that the law makes it illegal for them. If you have a legal law now, I bet you'll be shocked at those that are involved in it. People run out from this country to go and practice that they believe. You understand? So for me, the question we should be asking ourselves, okay, what are the moral values? What are the things that this would benefit? Like you said, well, all these political talks, at the end of the day, they say, okay, if you do not support or make this bill happen,
there might be sanctions, there might be, yes, exactly,
if we were self-sufficient as a people, we wouldn't mind. We would call their bluff. But because we have politicians and people that are so greedy that they are lazy in creating things and making things work, those international benefits is what they rely on. So as long as that aid is coming in, they will find a way around it. So the conversation is far deeper than what we are saying here. That is the truth.
Okay.
To add to what he just said, Thomas Sankara said, and I quote, he who feeds you controls you. Like he was talking about the grants thing. How long are we going to keep depending on foreign countries for aid? How long are we going to keep running back to those people? Those matters are very disheartening. This issue, the pressure is getting higher. I noticed there are speculations also. The first time they tried influencing Dr. Jonathan Ebele to pass into law. Speculation were going around that those were part of the things that made him lose that election.
Re-election.
So the pressure is mounting again,
I
close
heard
to another election. So is our president going to bow to that pressure? And like you said, they are everywhere in Lagos, in Kano, in Abuja. So the pressure underneath, there are people that are pressing these buttons, but let's come back to being Africans. Let's come back to be who we are. Can this work? It might work in 100 years from now, but for now, can we absorb that kind of mentality that a man to man, woman to woman in our society can really work? So this is
coming from our cultural values.
Let me tell you something. It will be easier to work now, and the reason is very simple. The average well-to-do person sends their children abroad for school. That's it. And where do they learn this thing? So where is our own cultural background to teach them from?
But my worry now is that will people sit back? The majority of our people sit back and watch that law being passed. Is that not going to be?
But
who are the
people that would sit back?
I don't believe in impossibilities,
no,
but I try to.
But Buki, don't you think a lot of us actually live in pretense? Because we have friends, you will know someone that knows someone that is
relatives.
Yes, we know
that live this kind of lifestyle.
Yeah,
what have we done?
I've been into a series of discussions like this with people. I try to assimilate the concept behind it. Some people tell you out of 10 human beings, there's always a default. There's always a default. There's a problem. That person is not well configured or
so God makes mistakes. In other words,
that people will always give you reasons to justify their actions, and then some say it's true. Why can you restrict people to love whoever they want to love, share their feelings with whoever?
Or do you define a person by that person's sexual preference?
If you look at it logically, they might be right.
A lot of excuses.
Yes, logically they might be right, but morally, as Africans, now. The whites, they are telling us that these are laws, these are things they sold to us.
And they were wrong.
They were wrong. Imagine a UK Prime Minister using those kind of words.
Exactly.
Yes, that's to tell you, if you have sensitive leaders, if you have transformational leaders, these are things that you should take note of. That this mental slavery should stop. We should stand, like you rightly said, we should learn to stand on our own and take our decisions. Because when I was about 10 years, that was my first experience of something like this.
Long time ago.
Yeah, very long. And I was in shock for months before I started talking to people about it. Like, this man is a football coach. These are things he tried to do to me as a child. So that was my first experience about it. And a lot of people won't even come out to own up or to discuss something like that in public because the idea, people don't come out. It's true.
We've had this with us for a long time.
Very long time.
It's just that with technological advancement, civilization, people are now coming out.
Yours is even 10 years. I had a very close friend. He's still my friend. Very close friend. I mean, we were very close. But I never knew he was a gay. We were close, and people thought I was. People thought I was.
Because birds of the same feather flock together.
It took me some time. Even my cousins didn't tell me. So it was one day they made a statement, and I was like, "Hey, wait a minute." And I started laughing, and a lot of things started playing. And one of those days, he actually tried to be funny, and that was where I now realized and said, "Okay, hold on. You know what? Let's see tomorrow." Until today, that was the end of it. You understand? So let's stop living in pretense.
Good.
My problem is, look, I should orientate my child. Look, this thing is not good. Because I'm not going to follow that child to every corner he or she would go. So I should start orientating that child that, look, this is not right. That is the only way, because, like I said, most of these parents, they take their children abroad. And why? Because we don't have a system that works here. I mean, I was shocked today to hear that a very reputable company in this country only employs people that have masters from abroad. A very reputable company, and I'm asking myself, what is happening? And what is government doing about it?
And they're doing business on our soil.
And they're doing business on our soil and making money from us. Sir, and we drink their beer every day.
Sir, let me take you
back. Okay, so we know it's a beer company now. I'll do my investigations. I hope hope it's not my brew. It's not my brand.
Well,
I'll be quick to change.
Make your investigation, but it is wrong because you're encouraging these people to go out of this country, and that's where they meet all these things.
Exactly. And then the thing is, okay, the law is there, but how has the law really been implemented? I mean, we see a lot of them come out on social media boldly. I mean, you know, and they are quite popular. They're popular. They're famous. What has the law really done in terms of implementation?
They've caught some people. And those are
Recently,
the ones that don't have money.
They were fighting because they got HIV. I read that story.
They
Very, very annoying story.
They will still release them because someone somewhere is watching.
Exactly. And chill. And you actually put them in the same prison with
together
with another male. There. Okay.
I get your drift.
You need to do your research and know what's happening in Nigerian prisons.
Wow, this is sad.
So they learn a lot.
A lot of things are happening in Nigerian prisons. Just to buttress a point, when you talked about educating your child, we as Nigerians, as African fathers, what would you tell your son? How would you say it? It's not part of us. I'm still trying to find the right words to express this. What would you tell? What would you? Your daughter, your son grows up in a family setting of you and your wife. So how would you start explaining that this man, woman? Man, it might be possible in another 100 years. Like, I'm not disputing.
Well, but whether we like it or not, we're gradually getting there.
Yes,
that is the signal I'm getting. All right, let's quickly look at more feedbacks before we go on the show. Still on the issue of the police and Shiite members clash in Abuja. This one says it's another shame again. It's unfortunate that all these things are happening. The whole world is watching. The government have self-interest, not for the society. Let us say the truth. They don't remember other people and listen to other people's opinion. But God is alive. We don't have power. And it goes on and on. Tolu from Lagos, thank you for that. On the issue of same-sex marriages, this one says same-sex marriage, we're not interested in such acts. Please let her stay away from Nigeria with those issues. Our cultures and religion don't value it. Good morning, everyone there. It's very easy. Wow. Emi Cool from Makodi. I can't read your message because English is it's not my grade. I don't know. All right. Good morning to you all in the studio. The present government is in a state of confusion. Sad enough, they don't even have respect for the right of the citizen and court orders. Our PVC is being cleansed every day for 2019. you understand what he's saying? I don't understand what he's saying. All right, this other one by Felix Ayanwu in Lagos says same-sex marriage is against our culture and it is viewed as a sacrilege in our society. I'm so sure that President Buhari will never sign such bill into law, especially as a core Muslim. Let the West allow us to live our life and respect our core values. Yes, which is why we're saying let us be able to stand on our own as a country. So we don't have to rely on them for anything. Pastor David is sending this one in from Mowe in Ogun State. Same-sex marriage is sick, culturally demeaning, and religiously insane before God and man. Genesis 2 verse 24 says, a man shall cleave to his wife, in bracket, woman, and they shall become one. Simple and end of discussion.
I wish we had someone that is, and the person will be able to still quote another place in the Bible. Yes.
That supports.
I
don't know about that. All right, let's move it along because of time. Our third topic today says Kenya Airways sacks 22 of its 26 Nigerian workers. Kenya Airways have sacked this number of Nigerian employees, representing 86.4% of the entirety of its Nigerian workers. According to reports, only 4 Nigerian staff are currently retained by the management of the airline. Those retained are the country manager, the station manager, and 2 other staff. The report also says that the SAC staff were issued the disengagement letters at the airline's office in Lagos in the presence of stern-looking police officers who were engaged by the airline to scare away the affected staff and prevent possible breakdown of law and order. And the staff were only given 4 weeks wages on disengagement. That's 1 month, you know, on disengagement by the management. And we have a union called the Nigerian Labor, what are they called? I don't know if it's a Congress or a union. That was the first thing that came to my mind when I saw the story. We have a union.
A huge one.
Yeah.
It is, because this is not, I don't know why this Kenya Airways thing is coming up now, but before now, I know on a personal level, I know some companies, multinationals in Nigeria, that manual labor or their manual staffs, machines, all these accidents, their ribs being cut off and nothing is being done about it. It's a shame.
This same airline?
No.
Okay,
some other companies like that.
Yeah.
That's I'm trying to go back to the union thing you talked about. It's a shame, first and foremost, for a country like Kenya to have an airline, and Nigeria, which is called the giant of Africa, not to have
a national
carrier. It's a huge shame. Yesterday I was just talking to one of my friends. He's a Nigerian and he works in Tanzania, and he told me that one of their policies in Tanzania was that they made it a law. One of their policies, their labor law, that you have to transfer 51% of your shares to an indigene of Tanzania, and you have to do you do 49. You understand? And they are into communications. He said right on their CCTV camera, they caught an indigene, a Tanzanian, stealing cables. They went to court. They lost the case. So their policies, every of their policy, every of their labor law favors their indigenes. Yes. Take for instance South Africa. A huge telecommunication company here went to South Africa to establish. When they got there, some of the terms and conditions was that they are not going to have contract staffs. They are going to have permanent staffs. In Nigeria, the same communication company in that South Africa, they came to Nigeria. 98% of their staffs are contract staffs. You understand? And I overheard some unions saying they're going to fight. In Nigeria, greed is like a canker worm that has eaten us so deep. If a typical Nigerian, if he's not getting anything, if he or she is not getting anything from a particular project or something, there's nothing he will pursue. So let those two people just know that they should just go and look for a job somewhere.
No, because right now I can say something that the National Union of Air Transport Employees have actually they actually went they had a shutdown. They had a shutdown with the airline sometimes last year because of poor
and what came out of it?
You understand?
Nothing.
And they went
this sort of thing to aero contractors did something similar not too long ago. So I mean, what comes out after all this, you know? Now wash, like they say.
Yeah. My question is this: from what you read, stern-looking policemen,
yes.
Are they from Kenya?
In case you want to do from Nigeria.
Are the policemen from Kenya?
From Nigeria.
We don't even love ourselves.
And they gave you a letter in your own place. Now the question is, okay, what did these people do in the first place? Okay, if you are even trying to reduce your staff, must you reduce it to 4? Are you going to employ Kenyans to come to Nigeria and work? Now, you have labor unions. What are they doing about it? You see, it still goes back to the same merry-go-rounding in this country. There are no structures, no system. So anybody can afford to do what they do. Indians come here, they do their factories, and they employ casual workers. You go to this Apapa Road, you see hundreds of youths lining up to be casual workers that they pay 2,000 naira every day. Can they do that to their staff? So when you do not have systems that work, that is what happens.
Or even protect its citizens.
It doesn't. Because let me tell you, funny enough, it is still the same Nigerians that make these Nigerians slave.
Yeah.
Because if you employ me as a general manager in a company, and you're an Indian, I tell you, look, my people cannot come here to be contract staff. We stand that ground. It's either you employ them or you forget and close down. But here you are. You have Nigerians that would, you employ them, they will tell you, no, these guys are hungry. They'll just, don't worry, we'll now arrange them. And then you go and start looking for them so that you can pay them 2,000 naira.
We shall change ourselves.
Because these Indians do not know us. We give them such ideas and they get it and run with it.
And it works.
It works. It works. And once they do that, they say, oh, this man works very hard. So they pay you very good salary and you live fat from Nigerian.
I mean, these stories are there. They're out there every day. We hear about multinationals that are owned by non-Nigerians, and we hear about how Nigerians are being treated. You know, a lot of the Nigerians that work for them are not even real staff. They are on contract. How many of these companies has the NLC picketed? You know, how many of them have they taken to court to protect, you know, the average Nigerian that works for them and say, we don't like how you treat our. I mean, the government should sit up and do something. Enough is enough. We can't be forcing everything down. I'm sounding like an activist now because it affects everybody. You can't be forcing this thing down the throat of Nigerians and you don't expect them to do anything.
What they're just going to do at the end of the day is the Nigerian that happens to be like their top boss would have to now go and see the NLC president and just be like,
and then they settle it there, and that's why I asked, what comes out of it? Nothing.
Just take this envelope.
Ever since Ayuba Wabara got into the position as NLC president, what has been his achievement? Nothing. And nobody is holding him accountable for anything. He's there in a big office, having meetings here and there and enjoying the booty of the office, but nobody is holding him accountable. Until we as a people start holding these people accountable, start letting them explain to us what they are doing, they will continue to do that. This country belongs to us. Yes, they are leaders. But if I say, look, I'm not going to vote, and I have 10 million youths that say, look, we're not going to vote, or this is the person we want, and we stand by, we have you know, an agreement that you must fulfill.
All right. Wow, this is a very heartbreaking story. You know, I was following the reactions, following the story yesterday, and a lot of Nigerians were saying things like the Nigerians must have done something that warranted. Yes, people cannot be perfect and all of that, but then sacking 22 people out of 26 at the same time, that is wrong anyhow you want to look at it.
I think we should rephrase what that person said. The Nigerian government must have done something
the Nigerian government to
because once you do not have a structure and system in place, anybody can be sacked at any time. If hoodlums can go in and take the maize at the National Assembly, how much more Nigerians you are employed?
All right, our time is seriously gone on the show. People are reacting seriously to this same-sex issue. This one says, please, in China, the government banned anyone not to draw tattoos. We need another Oba of Benin to place a curse on whoever engaged in same-sex. All right. This other one says, I appreciate your discussion. For crying out loud, where's our moral values and culture? It goes on and on. Everybody's tired. That's just the signal I'm getting. Thank you so much, Michael Ojong. And thank you, Adebukola Olowoyeye, for coming on the show. Before we go, quick shout out to Chinedu, General Manager Koson. Yesterday was your birthday. I'm sorry I couldn't make it. I'm actually a bit under the weather. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Why children are shouting happy birthday?
We'll see you tomorrow at noon. Oh my, I couldn't make it. Alero, you know I've been sick. Why is this camera still on me?